What up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of Chat 10 Sports. I hope our audio is good. We might have to see if somebody can check on that. But if everyone's giving me the thumbs up in the comments, Trey Wynn here, Blake Shoemaker, Chase Green. Folks, we're live at this beautiful place, Tailgate Brewery, right here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you're in the area, today is the day to come experience this atmosphere. As you can see, the Chattanooga Titans fans are already here, and they are coming on strong as far as obviously Titans decorations. The crowd will be coming here. I got David Downing coming in, Herb Goney coming in. Good morning,
Boys.
Everybody. Fellas, how we doing today?
Dude,
Beautiful day.
we're in a beautiful little spot on a beautiful Chattanooga day. You can't beat this, dude. You can't
Beautiful.
beat this one.
It's a fantastic venue. When we were getting set up, it was just like awe-inspiring. It's like, wow, we're really going to do this. This is uncharted waters in a brand new venue with we're so excited. Excited.
Absolutely. And if you're new, if you're not from Chattanooga, if you ever come through Chattanooga, the Terminal Brewery, incredible spot, Nashville based, but right here behind us, the whole second floor is reserved for the Chattanooga Titans fans. You can see some of them right here over Chase's shoulder and Blake's shoulder, but they're hanging out, and we are coming. Let's see, it's 12:15 right now, or 12:20. Game time at 1. So come on out here in case you're watching. If you're in the area, we would love to have you. Obviously, a ton happening yesterday in the college football world. We can jump into Titans in a little bit and preview the Colts game that we've got. Several of our Chattanooga Titans fans are there in person today. But Chase Green, give me your rundown for college football Saturday yesterday, because pretty good day for the Vols. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
but let's just open it wide up. What was your takeaway from yesterday?
Yesterday, Tennessee, real quick, I was worried that this was – I guess we have this PTSD as fans that you're worried about, okay, we had a huge win. They're going to come out. And I actually believed in my heart that UT Martin was going to go up like 14-7 on us at some point. And I was like, this is just what a battered fan is like. But it didn't happen. Heupel turned it on,
He did.
cranked it up, and we took off. And that was a wonderful sight to see because that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. But on the quick flip side, and this is going to be a little pitch toss to you, Alabama was pissed off yesterday.
Yeah, baby.
Mississippi State hadn't scored, like 15 points against
They
them?
hadn't scored a touchdown in Alabama, they hadn't scored a touchdown at Alabama, I think, since 2016 or 2014, something like that. So the sign that you're going to be fine as an Alabama fan is you forget about the loss the week before, and then you're pissed off the week after because you allowed a touchdown to be scored. So
Dude.
it's the circle of life in
It is
Tuscaloosa. But yeah, I think Alabama, the stat was that their average margin of victory after a Nick Saban loss is somewhere around the lines of 27 or 28 points. So
Beautiful.
as somebody who bet Alabama to cover,
Yeah.
they're gonna.
That was my best bet of the day yesterday. It wound up being Alabama. I think I went super, super playful yesterday as far as we're just going to do 6.5 first quarter, 12.5 at halftime, and then 16.5. And I was like, I should have just definitely gone more ballsy than that, but I couldn't do it. I was like, it could be one of those, like they could have a little slow game, but then I was dumb. And I was like, I'm watching the game. Unfortunately, I was with a Mississippi State fan, and she was not happy. She was like, this just sucks. It's the worst weekend to play them. I was like, yeah, it wasn't going to be good.
Well, the funny thing was that the spread was 22.5 at kickoff. So Mississippi State doesn't do anything, and then they score a touchdown in literally the last second of the game.
Mhm.
And you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, they're scoring a meaningless touchdown. They're almost certainly going to go for 2 here.
Yeah.
It would be the worst beating of the spread ever. But, once the game ends, it's like, now we're not going to worry about kicking it or going for 2. Because, why not? Why would you not go for 2?
Right.
So would have made a lot of people really angry.
Oh, man, that would have been bad beat central.
Oh, man.
Oh, they would have been so pumped on SVP.
I will say, though, Chase, you were mentioning as far as watching the Vols, and just to throw my 2 cents in there, the first score for the Vols, and then obviously Martin to be right back there with you. I'm like, oh, okay, let's not do it especially right after Alabama week.
Yeah.
But they did turn it on. So, yeah, let's get some comments coming up here. Any player on the Panthers the Titans want, since that is a fire sale. We could talk about that in a little bit. Tighten up from Pamela Franklin. Thank you for joining. Herb Goney, good morning, sir. And David, we need you today, David. Blake and I were talking as our Colts fan. Welcome in. But, yeah, for me, something I want to talk about. Clemson yesterday, Dabo Swinney.
Yep.
The change at quarterback, not a huge topic. That's one thing that did stick out to me. Obviously, Ohio State. Now I'm starting to watch Ohio State with C.J. Stroud and Hendon Hooker, the race neck and neck. But I'm curious. I have that feeling that obviously Ohio State's going to be that team if we're looking at the playoff and looking at the landscape for that. But And again, if you have opinions and comments with us, feel free to share those wherever you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. But that was some stuff that stuck out to me. Does Ohio State still seem like a team that could upset the Georgia, the Alabama, the Tennessees that we're looking at right now in the SEC? Since we're talking Big Three and Ole Miss falling off, I know we were talking about the West. Lots happening there. But Blake, what were your thoughts as far as Ohio State? I mean, obviously blowing out whoever they went and try and pull
Iowa, I believe.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
54
There
to
you go.
10. So we got that pulled up here. But yeah, CJ Stroud, 4 touchdowns. What were your thoughts on Ohio State?
I mean, I know that Ohio State is a perennial player, especially when we get to the playoff, but they seem to stumble when they get, to seeing the defense in the SEC. But it seems like this year we're not seeing the dominance of the defense in the SEC as much as we have in years past, because Georgia has struggled with a couple of good majors. Alabama's secondary is getting burned pretty badly here of late. And then you have teams like Ole Miss who look like the real deal, and then Ole Miss goes and loses to South Carolina, which is like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, South Carolina was the butt of all these SEC jokes, and here they come. They've had a couple of really big wins. So I know that historically Ohio State hasn't had a good track record against the SEC, but I'm thinking that something's up with the SEC defense this year, at least based on what we've seen so far. So I think they've got a better chance than normal. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%, because you have to be able to score. And I think that's the part of it where you look at this competition. Really, it's between Stroud and Hooker. Seems like it right now.
Yeah.
And with those two offenses, you're going to score. It's going to look just like the Alabama game. If they played right now, I think it would look very similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what would happen on a neutral field. But Ohio State is so talented. Marvin Harrison Jr., Stroud, Henderson, like that whole front is fantastic. They are so deep. Like the recruiting process for Ohio State right now with Ryan Day is killing it.
Yeah.
They are that next tier, I guess. Like Georgia and Alabama have probably the 1-2 punch in the last, 6-7 years. But then you start to look at Ohio State, and yeah, they come up a little short against the SEC, but they're still right there as far as the talent goes. So you're just looking at that one game, and as you mentioned, that might be a better even point this year is with them not having these stacked defenses, this could be the year that Ohio State kind of slides in. It's like, oh, we're going to score on you now. We're going to score on you. This is not going to be that Florida game when all they had was that opening kickoff in the national championship. This is a long ways away from that team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Ohio State can do against top-tier talent down here, because Iowa, not top-tier talent.
Yeah, and I misspoke. It was LSU that beat Ole Miss. That's my bad. I forgot about it. I had forgotten about LSU.
I sure did as well. I saw it this morning and I was like, wait, what?
I forgot they were a thing.
Ole Miss was the number one bet on money line yesterday.
Oof.
And I was like, fade.
Listen to the man. He's got his sauna picks going left and right. So yeah, again, we did talk about Clemson and Syracuse. I watched the pregame, which I loved. I forget his name, but Syracuse's head coach had a little interview. It was kind of cool. He was wearing AirPods, center of the field. So they were actually, and him and Dabo came up and he's like, I'm on a call, but I'll give you, dabbed him up and stuff. But obviously a very competitive game in the ACC, and seeing Clemson there at number 5, if they can work their way through, and even obviously the quarterback change, I'm not going to even try and say his name, but being benched and then the backup comes in. I hear post game that he's saying, hey, this is your team. One bad day. It is funny.
Somebody waving in the background.
Yeah. But obviously Clemson's a team that I wouldn't expect Syracuse to be 6-1 right now, but here we are. Did you guys get a chance to see anything there? Obviously big fourth quarter for Clemson. But I am not ever going to sleep on a Dabo Swinney coach team.
Never. You can't, especially in the ACC. Syracuse is one of those teams you're like, there's a reason they're not in the top 20 or not in the top 15 at this point. And then they start to sneak up. And you're like, well, you gotta give them credit at 6-0. So when they go into this game, this was a huge double-digit favorite for Clemson. I'm like, dude, 14.5. 14.5. I think it might have bumped down to 13.5 by game time. I didn't keep up with that one. But I'm thinking that's just too many points. That's too many points for a decent Syracuse team. Like, they've really not played this huge amount of competition yet. But they also, you're winning games. You're winning games, and I know it's at home, a lot of these games, but you blow out Louisville, very talented quarterback up there. He's super athletic. You beat NC State. I know they didn't have Larry. But then you get these wins against Purdue and Virginia, and it's like they're decent enough wins. You got to give them a little bit of credit. But then yesterday I was like, it's just too many points, and I don't love Clemson to the point of giving them 14.5. I was like, I thought DJ actually would have a better day yesterday because I've just watched him play a little bit more.
Mhm.
The power running, the Tebow-esque type of stuff, whatever they want to call it. But it was kind of surprising yesterday that Dabo goes with the switch. And I was like, okay. So, so what we're looking at here, if you're a betting man, get them at that live bet line, see how that works out. And I'm sure I saw some friends of mine hit that yesterday at halftime. And I was like, smart play. Smart play.
And give Syracuse credit. Syracuse is not the Syracuse we've seen in the past several years. I mean, they were really in control of this game, and they just let it get away from them late.
Yep.
But if we've learned anything about Dabo, is that if something's not clicking, he's not afraid to go in there and make a change.
No.
And shake things up. I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to? Would you rather try to win the game by making some kind of unorthodox change, or would you rather be afraid of losing by another touchdown?
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
It's one of those things. So Clemson, like you said, don't bet against Dabo. They've had 100. I don't know. They still feel like they're ranked too high right now. They just really do, and it's not the same Clemson we're used to seeing.
And see, that's like you're saying about Syracuse. Not the same Syracuse. It's not the same Clemson. But how good is Syracuse right now in the ACC? And could they continue? Because that 14 spot, I mean, you could easily wiggle your way. And especially if they see Clemson again, ACC championship, who knows what happens? I'm not sure about the alignment there, but yeah, pretty saucy day there in South Carolina for the Tigers. I do want to mention, in case you're just joining us right now, we're live, Tailgate Brewery right here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, formerly the Terminal, in case you need to know where it is. Come out here if you're in any surrounding area in the greater Chattanooga area. You are welcome to come. All are welcome here. It's going to be a beautiful day. Got the patio, but these lined walls with TVs, beautiful big screens to watch this 1 o'clock kickoff against the Tennessee Titans. Guys, let's see here how much time we've got. We've got plenty of time as far as kickoff, but any other topics that we want to touch in college football, because there is actively always something happening there.
Yeah. Only thing is, I think next week's going to be a big week for the Vols in Kentucky. This is a possible, you kind of get worried about all we're going to beat the hell out of them. That stuff always worries me when they're going to be such a monster favorite. And you got to just watch out for that one bad loss. It's college football, but I do think Heupel's got these guys on the right train, and they're going to be battling back. But just got to be a little on edge.
Yeah.
You got to be ready to go next week. I think that's the big part is hopefully Tillman comes back, all that fun stuff. So we'll see. What about you, Blake?
Well, I'll say this too. Give credit to the small schools on the schedule too. UTC with a really big win yesterday.
Huge win over
really
Mercer
big
yesterday.
win. Although granted, I mean, I kind of saw this coming. Mercer really hasn't played anybody.
No, sure haven't.
And they were really exposed. So UTC looking like they're, looking really good. They've got a really big game next week on the road at Furman.
Yeah.
That's a really hard stadium to go into and win. So they've got that. And then my alma mater, Samford, with another big win yesterday. Samford's only loss this year was to Georgia.
Yeah.
And they held them to like 30 or something like that.
Put some respect on their name,
Yeah,
baby.
there you go.
On the Samford
So,
name.
I mean, if they keep winning, that's going to set up a really big matchup possibly for the SoCon between Samford and UTC.
That's
so,
right.
Everybody's excited. It's a good time to be in Chattanooga right now.
Yeah. Last thing here, Steven Snyder coming in. I see my Texas A&M neighbors are hiding today. Big game down there. But looking forward to next week. Chase, you mentioned Kentucky, and I want to know one thing: is this whole black and orange checkered kneeling a real thing? Is that
It is.
a rumor?
Yeah.
It
Or
is
is it happening?
I think it actually is happening.
I thought I saw it on their social media.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I want to see it in real time.
I agree.
I wanna see it.
I will say, I'm going to not pronounce his last name, but Greg Leonard, Word with G, did put it up on the ESPN Chattanooga's Instagram, and I just immediately was like, yeah. I did see, however, a pattern that had a jack-o'-lantern's face, which I thought was cute,
Ooh.
and an orange, yeah. And,
Dude.
I mean, I can let it slide given the fact that the following couple days are actually Halloween, so no problems there. But again, if you're just joining us, we are at Chat 10 Sports Live here at Tailgate Brewery in Chattanooga, Tennessee, downloading everything happening from SEC sports, anything from Tennessee, Alabama, some big topics there, and we'll move into some Tennessee Titans and NFL talk. So feel free to chat with us. Drop it wherever you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and please share the show for us if you do not mind. Again, everyone's welcome. The Chattanooga Titans fans will be rolling in here any minute. It's going to be getting loud, and we'll be back at halftime, so be sure to check us out there as well. But, fellas, big old day. I'm going to have to throw up some scores here as far as NFL and what we have coming, because let me ask you this, okay? My fantasy football league, we've been going strong for 10 or 15 years now. And every week we pick a quarterback, and we go off yards, and whoever has the most yards, you follow me. So today somebody picked up Marcus Mariota, which made me scratch my head. But they are playing against the Bengals.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: are the Falcons real, or are they? What are we saying, Chase? What's our line? Are they friends or are they foes?
Yeah, fans or frauds?
Fans or frauds?
Fans or frauds.
I just want to ask that question. We can maybe do it at halftime, and maybe we do it with the Titans at halftime. But are the Falcons real? Are you fans of the Falcons? I know we talked about it, but they're getting some hype. I'm watching pregame shows, and they're out here saying, "Hey, the Dirty Birds are doing work," and I don't know how to think about that.
Fun.
They're fun.
Fun or frisky. If I had to take one, I would say fraud. They're covering. They're having a rally late. I don't think they're a playoff contender. It's one of those things. Like, I guess that's the only reason they're a fraud. But they're so much fun. Marcus is back.
Yeah.
Peas, Art. It's great.
You can't, especially as Titans fans, you can't help but not love, especially the old boys. I see Ferkser down there. I think Michael Pruitt caught a touchdown.
He did.
I'm like, bro, you know how I feel about those guys. We were buddies for a long time. But no, Blake, what are your thoughts on the Falcons?
I think I said on the show earlier this week I called them friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, friends is a good way to put that. Yes.
Friends.
Friends are a good way to put that.
Not really sure at this point, but I mean, just like Marcus. I mean, Marcus not known for the deep ball.
Yeah.
Known for that run option. So, it seems as though it works for a while and then teams kind of get wise to it. For now, looking good, seems legit right now, but I just feel like as the season goes on, they're going to start scheming for it.
Yeah.
So I think right now, fan, but in the long term, fraud.
Yeah. That's a good call. Short term fan. What about you?
I do think the Bengals, they're not known for their defense. They're not known for their offensive line. Obviously, I'm trying to think of anybody else besides Grady Jarrett on the defensive front as far as the Falcons go. Who knows, man? If for the Bengals, I don't know that we were talking about Clemson not being the same old team. I don't know that the Bengals are the same old team from last year. It seemed like their offensive line's gotten worse, and Burrow just can't seem to stay upright. I won't be shocked. I know it is at Cincinnati, but just to have that and just to think, hey, if the Falcons can get a good win over a former Super Bowl, contending team and runner-up last year, that's okay by me. But again, like you said, I mean, former Tennessee Titans 2.0. And one thing, too, the NFC South, I mean, it's really wide open in my mind.
Fact.
Especially we were getting questions about the Panthers kind of just, falling apart. I do know we were talking earlier, Brian Burns, just to answer Herb's question here, or excuse me, Hugh Gray's question here, if there are any players on the Panthers, if I can get that to go up there, the Titans want. Well, hit me with some thoughts as far as if anybody. I know it's getting slim, but if you have any thoughts as far as what the Titans could go after.
I'm not really sure at this point. I mean, you would think, the Panthers are packing it in, and they might be looking to move some players. But McCaffrey, I thought was untouchable.
Yeah, me too.
And then all of a sudden we hear this week they're shipping him off to San Francisco, and report is he's going to play today. I mean, the guy doesn't even know the playbook yet, but he's Christian McCaffrey. Why would you not have him out there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing, too, there was a report on ESPN that an unnamed team had offered the Panthers 2 first-round picks for their defensive end, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Brian Burns.
Yeah,
Florida
2
State.
first-round picks, and they had turned that down.
Have to get a fat extension, by the way. Harold Landry-esque type of.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're going to trade away McCaffrey and you're blowing it up and you're going to rebuild, if you have the opportunity to pick up 2 first-round picks, why would you not?
Right.
So I don't know. Assuming the report is legit. I mean, it is ESPN, and, sometimes they get ahead of themselves a little bit.
Shefty might have something to do with that.
I don't know. What do you think?
The DJ hype. Honestly, what's weird is I thought the McCaffrey thing was going to be multiple first-round picks. I thought that was going to be the trade. And what was said this morning about Peter Schrager was the 4th-round addition that the 49ers gave instead of the Rams was the winning ticket, that extra 4th rounder. And you're like, wow, man, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th,
yeah,
5th, right? I think it was all kind of a
middle rounds.
Yeah, all middle rounds, all numerical. What's that for DJ then?
Yeah.
Would you? I mean, I'd give up a 3rd and a 5th and the 7th, whatever.
But that's when we make our good picks.
But with that, I mean, you also have because the question now is like, can he still stay healthy?
Yeah.
I mean, I see why he didn't get 2 first-rounders or whatnot, because that's the sexy, it's Christian McCaffrey. That Cadillac can't run like it used to in my mind, just because it will break down from time to time. It's not 100% reliable, but if anybody on that for the Titans to go after, it's 100%, in my opinion, DJ Moore. Yeah. It's not going to happen. But if Brian Burns, you could lick your chops at several players, and I think it was Titan-sized that put out a few weeks ago players they could specifically go for. Offensive tackle. The Titans right now have to make that decision quickly.
Yep.
Are we pushing our chips in, or are we going to sit here and be content in what we are and say, let's roll the dice and see what we can do with this team? And here's the thing. That's not a bad bet for the Titans with Vrabel.
No.
We've talked about that for a couple of years, and I'm just thinking, I'm not going to be shocked if they make a big move. I'm not going to be heartbroken if they don't. It's like, hey, we always say we trust in J-Rob.
Trust in J-Rob.
However, when it hits the fan, people start hitting that button, and it's like that freak out button. But at the same time, first place Titans, we've won 3 in a row, coming off of a bye with a bunch of players. Bud Dupree, help me out. Who else? Amani Hooker's coming back.
Yep.
So getting healthier, which we saw last year. We could talk about it for years, of how this team can just make it happen. But that's all I'll say as far as Panthers go. But any other thoughts on what the Titans can do? If there's anybody else in the league, and again, if you're watching with us, feel free to share your thoughts too. But who would you love to see the Titans go after that would be a realistic pick? And not to put y'all completely on the spot, because I can look up some things here and see what some options might be too. But
did you see that list of names? I believe Mike Hernan put it out a couple days ago, not weeks. I do like the idea. I bet you could get him for very cheap. I like Marquez Callaway.
Mm-hmm.
For the right price. Like, he's somebody, and they definitely not played him much. He didn't have a wonderful game the last couple weeks, but he's also somebody that has potential. He's had big games for New Orleans, and I think that he could wind up stepping in and being just a young guy they can develop, work with, be a good number 3,
Mm-hmm.
cause some mismatch issues. Like, remember what Matt Collins did to Tennessee Titans in the Raiders game? Not the Oakland, shout out to Las Vegas. Sorry. It's still a habit. I'm going to call the Chargers San Diego.
We're all guilty.
Yeah. But I think that's the kind of guy Callaway can be in some aspects. So, I don't know.
I think Blake's looking up some things here. I got mine pulled up. Elijah Moore, and this is from A to Z Sports. Jack Gentry putting this out a couple days ago. Just 4 trade targets the Titans should go after. Elijah Moore, man. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what the disgruntled issues would be. Robert Salah said recently that he would not be moved. He was not playing this week, and I'm sure they're going to try and mend some things there. I would love to see that. Chase, what are your thoughts on Jerry Jeudy? Because again, A to Z Sports, love those guys out of Nashville. Jerry Jeudy of the Broncos, visibly a couple weeks ago, looking frustrated with Russell. Obviously, Russell's hurt right now, so he's not playing today against the Jets, I think it is.
Maybe my favorite pick of the day is the Broncos.
Over the Jets?
Over the Jets.
Ooh.
Moneyline Broncos.
Ooh.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Fading America once again.
That could be a good addition to a nice parlay for the day. And then the last pick here, just to fill everybody in from A to Z Sports, Jack Gentry, great stuff, man. Isaiah Wynn of the Patriots would be I'd be beating my chest, ripping my shirt off and just in celebration, because that would be – and here's my thing. Obviously, we need to start talking about some Colts Titans before this game here, and you guys can share your thoughts wherever you're watching. But if the Titans want to make everything count with Henry right now, I think that receiver spot takes so much pressure off of him because the lack of A.J. Brown or that first-tier guy is what makes it so easy for these teams to hone in. And I recently saw King Henry's not even in the top 5 as far as rushing yards right now, which is not something we're used to seeing. But yeah, any last thoughts as far as Titans and what they need to do if they need to make any changes right now?
Well, there's another one that I think a lot of people are missing, and it's really all depending on how the season continues for them. But Robert Quinn on the Chicago Bears had 18 and a half sacks last year. 18 and a half sacks last year on the Bears. During the offseason, there was talk that he might be, entertaining the idea of maybe he didn't try to force a trade. He didn't go public. He didn't badmouth the franchise or anything like that. So it's like he's trying to do it the right way. And, they had a surprise win in week 1 over the 49ers. So if they continue to win, there's no way they would even entertain the idea of letting him go. But if Chicago starts losing a few games, maybe they start thinking about it. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch these next couple of games leading into the deadline to see if maybe the Titans can step in and get it. Because when did the Titans get in trouble? We've had so much injury on the pass rush front. The last time we played the Colts, had the game totally in control. Dupree gets hurt, recovering the fumble. And from that point on, Matt Ryan was down the field.
Yeah.
So having people we can rotate in and out and having more depth in that pass rush position since we don't have Landry this year.
Yeah.
I think that totally makes sense.
Just makes you think, though, because even injuries for the Colts, I know, their center, Wesley French, Nick Foles is out, and that's relevant. But we talked about Shaq Leonard prior to the game, big inside presence for their defense. Cunningham's still out for the Titans, Troy Carter, Joe Jones, Sam, defensive tackle, and then, of course,
That
Kyle
Sam
Phillips.
guy.
Yeah, the Sam guy that we like. But right now, looking at ESPN's kind of matchup predictor, looking at it's literally 49.9% for the Colts, for the Titans, since they're at home.
This math doesn't work out.
Yeah, something like that. I got too many toes and too many fingers on that one. But Matt Ryan's always the flyer for me. And it's the same vibe. Shout out to my boy Devin Wolf, who'll be at the game today, who bet against me that Carson Wentz would throw a pick against the Commanders. Sure enough, he did.
Sure enough.
But, like you said, when Bud Dupree was out, he started moving downfield. But the Titans are not the type of team just to watch that happen and not adjust. So I'm curious to see how Matt Ryan's going to be for sure. Outside of that, I think we're so familiar with this team. I'm feeling pretty confident at home.
And Dupree is back.
But Vrabel off the bye week. I don't know if we pull up stats on that. That's one of those you don't want to bet against the guy.
Yeah, I think the last 8, he's 8-0 and 8-0 against the spread too. If you want to look at it that way too. So the guy covers. The guy wins. Great team to cover.
Yeah. Speaking of covering, let me pull this back up here because Titans are currently, let's see, I think it's plus 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Titans minus 2.5.
Yeah.
Over under 43. What do you think about that?
All right. So here's looking at the historic, the last 19. So Tennessee is 13-6 straight up in the last 19. Indy is 8-2 straight up against Tennessee on the road. So Indy historically has played better on the road than they have in their own stadium. So the over has hit in 4 of the last 6 in this series. So my play would be to bet the over and bet the Titans minus 2.5 if it was me.
Yeah, I'd probably do the exact same thing. Don't want to be like the guy that disagrees with it, but it's the best play right here. I think there's going to be some scoring. I think Jonathan Taylor does have a bounce back day.
Yes, baby.
Sir.
Got Brian Hager.
Let's go! For the boys!
This is the man, the myth, and the legend here. Brian Hager coming in, just giving us some hype. Obviously, look at this bling here. Sitting there chatting to Titans fans. Again, if you're in Chattanooga,
let's go.
Tailgate Brewery is the game time. 1 o'clock
Bring
kickoff. We're getting close. Got some people filing in here. But yes, if you're in town, this is the man for Chattanooga Titans fans. Find all of us on Facebook. Join the group in case you're not. Instagram and Twitter as well in case you want to keep up with them there. But we're getting close on our game time here. What are we, 9 minutes out? Am I right?
Yep.
Am I counting? Okay, cool. Public school math is still good for anybody that's wondering. Let's get some predictions here.
Yeah,
boys.
you want to do a little picks?
Yeah,
let's go.
All right.
Let's start Titans, and then maybe we'll filter through some more games here.
Okay, so it sounds like we're all pretty much on the same page, but Titans Indy.
Yes, I'm going to give you some numbers, though, because the over-under at 43, I could definitely sing, I'm going to say 27-24 Titans in a nail-biter because, again, Devin Wolf, Brandon Hinman, a lot of our Chattanooga Titans fans, the Hortons, Chris and Katie are up there as well. They need to make sure their heart rate is checked, blood pressure is taken. I'm fully anticipating one of those games.
Yeah,
for sure.
Same here. It's Titans homecoming weekend. We're having a lot of the players of the past come back.
Warren Moon up there.
And how appropriate late in October that the Titans have the chance to bury the Colts.
Bingo.
So you bring them in, and if you beat them here and you sweep them, and you have them even worse in the standings of the division than they were before, you're really going to put a nail in that coffin. I could see a game. I could say Titans 31-28.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go a little bit. I'm going to actually have the same Titans score. I think it's going to be 31-24. I think that's where we're going to land out this week. I think they kind of wound up getting a little late touchdown. Henry's going to have another big day. It's the Colts deck of it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to tear him up today. I think it's going to be a really, really good running back battle. I don't think Taylor's going to allow what happened last time to happen this time. Pittman's going to be tough to stop again.
Yeah, for sure.
Pittman. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do as far as matchups there for sure because, I just feel the secondary, either they're going to do it or they're not, and this is what they are. And I feel like at the end of the day, Shane Bowen's got to make sure that we're all prepared and ready to go. Some other games around the league. I know we talked Falcons, Bengals. I'm going to go Falcons on that one for sure. I thought we have to run through picks.
We can go rapid fire.
Yeah, let's do rapid fire.
I'm just thinking, what are your thoughts on Falcons Bengals?
I think it's Bengals.
Yeah,
really?
Banged up secondary for Atlanta. I'm going to go Bengals.
Yeah,
right.
Bengals come back. Big week for Joe Mixon as well.
Joe Mixon. All right, got Detroit and the Cowboys at 1 o'clock in Dallas. The pick is Dallas for sure. I won't be shocked to see the Lions just come alive. And in some ways, I think Dan Campbell is that type of dude, but I'm gonna definitely be picking the Cowboys for sure.
Well, I'm going to channel my interleague Corso. It's going to be Dallas, but it's going to be closer than the experts think.
That's what I think. Yeah, absolutely.
Dak Prescott all set to be back today, so it'll be interesting to see how he recovers from the broken finger and the surgery. But I say Dallas in a close one.
Okay. Dallas for the win, but the Fighting Dan Campbell's off a bye week. Give me the freaking lines to cover. Let's go. 6.5, too many points.
All right, let's hit some Washington Commanders versus the Packers. We've talked about the Packers, faux fraud. Well, what are they? The Commanders are, I don't know.
Yeah.
Head coach talking about the quarterback, what's going on there. Obviously, the whole Dan Snyder. We could talk about that maybe Thursday, or maybe tomorrow night, Thursday, whatever. But
yeah,
we'll
we'll
figure it
figure it
out.
out. Schedule it.
But it's a mess, and I feel like that kind of stuff trickles in. So I think the Packers are going to hit them big, and they're going to hit them hard. Matt LaFleur, obviously, Aaron Rodgers still having that relational thing, whatever they got going on, that love-hate dynamic. But yeah, I'm going Packers big for that.
Yeah, Green Bay may be a fraud, but Washington is a JV high school team, so I'm going to go Green Bay.
Bingo.
Not
Yeah.
even FBS. He went straight to JV.
Yeah, this is the big week. Montez Sweat's gonna be the only person to play as well for the Commanders today, and still just won't even be close to enough. I think the Packers really bounce back today.
Yeah, baby. All right, Giants. Ooh, the Giants and the Jags. I'm going to shout out to my friend Jordan Padilla, who's in Jacksonville, big Jags fan. The Giants are too good in my mind, but if Trevor Lawrence can do what he's supposed to do, and their defense can play and continue to have some type of success with Tavon Walker, I believe his name is, and Josh Allen on the edge. It's in Jacksonville, the dumpster fire that it is. I'm going to go Giants, though, because I feel like they're going to I think Saquon, like we were talking prior to recording, Saquon's having that year that we hope to see McCaffrey have in San Francisco. So I'm going to go big Giants.
So the only thing that gives me pause on this is that the game is in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about Jacksonville and that stadium.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. New York has blitzed more than any other team in the league this year, but Trevor Lawrence performs better against the blitz than he does against a traditional front. So there's a lot of things that could kind of go either way here, but I think New York is too good. New York is the surprise team. Both New Yorks are surprise teams of the year.
Yes.
But I think it's too much Giants. Giants going to win.
Well, boys, I think this is a good play today. I think somehow Jacksonville gets it done today.
Ooh.
Yeah,
like
Trevor Lawrence is going to figure it out today. It's a tough team to play. I think that that defense has to step up at home, and Jacksonville really needs this one.
100%.
Yeah.
For sure. Cleveland, Baltimore, I think Baltimore big. Any differences there?
Nah, give me Baltimore.
Yeah, give me Baltimore. This is going
We're
to be a
getting-
huge Lamar day.
Yeah, I know we could talk about this Thursday, but Baltimore and Lamar's contract, I know that's a big – I highly, highly doubt they're going to let him walk, but that's one of those things we'll talk about later. New York, we did talk about the Broncos. I think Salah and the Jets are going to go big today. If anybody has any other thoughts on that
I think the
one.
Jets win.
Yeah, I think so as well. Sorry.
Broncos money line.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oh, baby.
Sneak of the day.
4:05 kickoff there. Texans and the Raiders, which we're talking top 5 picks as far as draft goes, as far as where these teams are right now. I mean, does the dumpster fire rage today, or are we going to see? I don't know. I think the Raiders, since they're in Las Vegas, are going to get one there.
I don't know. I got a feeling about this one, man.
Texans?
I don't know. I don't know why I feel this way, but I think the Texans may get it done.
Wow. Okay. That does seem like a sneaky one. Raiders are too good. So I think I'm going to take the Raiders. Adams going to have a big day. Waller coming back. Be nice.
Yep. Oh, look at that Oilers jersey. Looking
Oh.
good. Looking good over there, my man. All right, we got Chargers and the Seahawks of Los Angeles, since we continue to fail with these cities that have relocated.
Yep.
I'm gonna go. Chargers for no apparent reason here, Blake, if you don't mind.
Trey says Chargers for no apparent reason. I'm going to say,
I turned it off again.
I don't know. I know that we talked earlier this week about, frauds or fans or whatever, and I
Mhm.
still feel like Seattle ain't it. But
Yeah.
then you watch this past Monday, Los Angeles won, but didn't throw a touchdown, which
57
sucked because
attempts.
if you saw any of the boosts
Yeah.
this past week, there was a boost where it was like plus 100 for Herbert to throw one
One
touchdown.
I know. And I was like, this is too good to be true. And I still took it.
And I took
Sucker.
it too. We lost.
Yeah.
So just
57
because I'm mad at Herbert, Seattle.
57 attempts for Herbert last week, not a touchdown.
None.
And I think this is probably the game of the week for me. Kansas City. I want to see San Francisco because I forget who beat them last week. Was it the
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, so big. I mean, but who beat the 49ers last week? That was
The Atlanta Falcons.
That's right. Our boys, the Dirty Birds, taking care of business. I do want to see McCaffrey. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're number 23 now. Got to love that. But I'm going to take I'm going to take KC coming off of the loss, and Andy Reid. I think he's going to just, chalk it up. But what do y'all think as far as Niners Chiefs?
I go Kansas City. I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes.
No, I'm not coming off a loss. I think it's going to be really close. And McCaffrey, maybe a top 5 most talented running back in the most talented running back system. He's going to have a monster game probably for the next 3 weeks, and I can't wait to watch that because it's going to be electric.
Dolphins, Steelers. I got Kenny Pickett because I'm like, dude, Josh Allen is on the bench this week on a bye. So prayers for Steelers Nation today. Yeah. I'm going to go Miami big at home at 8:20. NBC, we'll check that one out tonight for sure. What do you guys think?
Tua set to come back too. So it'll be interesting to see, how he works back into that offense after that really scary injury a few weeks ago. I think being in Miami is going to help him too, but give me the Miami Marine Mammals for the win.
Sign me up, baby. Yeah, I'll hop on that train with you boys.
And then Monday night pick, we'll close out with this one, New England, Chicago. Honestly, I care less about these primetime games right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching any other show.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm going to find some 30 for 30 about the last good Monday night football game and see if we can find it. I'll go New England, even though I think you just never know with the Chicago Bears, man.
That could be an absolute snoozer. If you're going to take an under in any game, that's your under this week.
Yeah.
All right, boys. See you at halftime.
Yeah, kickoff. We'll see you here at halftime. Make sure if you're coming to this, come on right now. Invite your friends. Have a great rest of your morning and tighten up, baby.
Tight.